They thought it was a joke. The Navy SEAL leaned back, eyes sharp but amused, and asked her a question meant to lighten the room. He smiled as he said it, certain of the answer, certain of the hierarchy he had lived his entire career. He asked her rank the way someone asks the weather, expecting nothing surprising. What happened next stopped the room cold and rewrote everything every man in that hall believed about authority, sacrifice, and quiet power. Asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more stories about extraordinary people. Her name was never meant to be known. That was by design. She arrived at the coastal operations compound before dawn, dressed in plain fatigues with no visible insignia. No medals, no ribbons, no rank stitched to her collar. She carried herself like support staff, someone used to walking through corridors without being remembered. Most assumed she was an analyst or a liaison sent to observe, not to command. The base was active that morning. A multinational exercise was underway, and senior leadership had gathered to evaluate readiness. Navy SEALs moved with their usual confidence, joking lightly as they prepared briefings. These were men who had operated in silence, in chaos, and under fire. Rank mattered to them, but competence mattered more. When she entered the briefing hall, conversation softened, not because of respect, but because of curiosity. She took a seat near the side of the room, opened a simple folder, and waited. Her posture was relaxed but deliberate, like someone accustomed to rooms where decisions carried weight. The SEAL, who would later ask the question, noticed her immediately. He was a seasoned operator, broad-shouldered, decorated, and known for his directness. He had spent years earning his place and had little patience for mystery. To him, clarity was survival. As the briefing began, officers presented scenarios, response times, and operational contingencies. When questions were asked, she did not interrupt. She listened. She observed. Only once did she speak, correcting a timeline with calm precision. Her voice was steady, confident, and unmistakably authoritative. The room paused for a moment, then continued. The SEAL leaned toward his teammate and whispered that she knew her stuff. There was respect in his tone now, but also curiosity. During a short break, he approached her, not aggressively, not rudely, but with the casual confidence of someone used to knowing where he stood. He smiled and said, "So what is your rank?" A few nearby officers chuckled softly. It sounded like a setup to a punchline. She looked up at him, met his eyes, and answered without hesitation. She stated her rank clearly and simply. The smile vanished. The air in the room changed so fast it felt physical. Conversation stopped. Chairs shifted. A colonel at the far end of the table froze mid-sentence. The SEAL's posture straightened instantly, his expression shifting from amusement to disbelief. Before anyone could speak, the doors at the rear of the hall opened. 4 generals entered together. They did not scan the room. They did not pause. They walked directly toward her. Every person present stood. The generals stopped in front of her, chair, and raised their hands in salute. Not a casual acknowledgement. A formal, unmistakable salute given only to someone whose authority demanded it. She returned it calmly, without pride, without ceremony, as if this moment had happened many times before. The SEAL felt his throat tighten. He had faced enemy fire without flinching, but this shook him. He had judged her by silence, by the absence of symbols, by his own assumptions. And in doing so, he had nearly missed the presence of someone who outranked everyone in that room. She was not there to impress them. She was there because she had been where none of them had gone. Her career had unfolded in places that never made headlines. Joint task forces, classified operations, strategic negotiations conducted in war zones where failure meant escalation and success meant silence. She had coordinated missions that never officially existed, guided outcomes that reshaped regions without a single shot fired. Her rank was high, but her influence was higher. After the salute, one of the generals addressed the room. He explained why she was there, not in detail, not with stories, but with enough clarity to leave no doubt. She had been appointed to oversee the integration of multiple elite units. Her assessments would determine future deployments and leadership selections. The SEAL felt heat rise in his face, not from embarrassment, but from something deeper, respect mixed with humility. He had not meant to insult her, but intent did not erase impact. When the meeting resumed, the tone was different. Every word she spoke carried weight now, not because of her rank, but because they understood the cost behind it. When she questioned the tactic, officers leaned forward. When she suggested an alternative, pens moved quickly. She did not raise her voice. She did not assert dominance. She led by clarity. Later, as the room emptied, the SEAL waited. When she gathered her folder and stood, he approached again. This time there was no smile. He stood at attention and apologized, not out of fear. Out of respect, she studied him for a moment, then nodded. She told him that questions were never the problem. Assumptions were. She told him that leadership was not about being seen, but about being trusted when it mattered most. Then she left. The SEAL watched her walk down the corridor. Her footsteps quiet, her presence already fading into the machinery of the base. He realized that the strongest authority he had ever witnessed did not demand recognition. It earned it in silence. That day stayed with him, in future operations. He listened more closely. He judged less quickly. He remembered that the absence of symbols did not mean the absence of power. Some of the most decisive people in the world moved through rooms unnoticed until the moment they changed everything. The story spread quietly through the ranks, not as gossip, but as a lesson. Respect is not owed to appearances. It is owed to experience, to sacrifice, and to those who carry responsibility without needing to display it. In a world obsessed with titles and visibility, she reminded them that true leadership often arrives without warning, speaks without noise, and leaves without applause. And when it does, the only proper response is to stand and salute. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.